Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, I'm giving a shout out to my wife, Mrs. Sujano, also known as the Average Tourist. It's our wedding anniversary. We've been married for 14 years, and they've been 14 of the best years of my life. Now, I'm not going to get all mushy and gushy here. I'm not going to have some huge montage, but I'm also not going to lie. Sarah, whenever you're watching this video, which will be probably at some point today, hopefully not tomorrow, thank you for sticking with me for 14 years. I'm an incredibly lucky guy. Thank you for being my better half, and cheers to many more years. But moving on, and we're talking about the Nintendo Switch 2. And if you're in Canada and had planned on pre-ordering a Switch 2, or if you're in the States and had planned on pre-ordering a Switch 2 in Canada and shipping it to the States, well, you are going to be out of luck here. Nintendo has delayed Switch 2 pre-orders in Canada. Now, I could be wrong here, but I don't think so. I think the original source of this is up on Mobile Syrup. I've seen this being reported in a bunch of different places, and only a few of them are listing Mobile Syrup as the source. So if you wanted to learn more about it, like everything we talk about, links are in the description below right at the bottom. I don't hide my sources. And they say here, pre-orders for Nintendo Switch 2 in Canada will not start on April 9th, 2025, in order to align with the timing of pre-orders to be determined in the US. Nintendo will provide updated information at a later date. The launch date of June 5th, 2025 is unchanged. I'm actually kind of surprised about this one. I'm curious to see what happens here, what the rationale was behind delaying the pre-orders on it and when the pre-orders are going to open up. Either way here, if you are in Canada, you are now out of luck. And speaking about pausing sales, next up we're talking about Razer. If you're in the US and you're in the market for a new Razer laptop, you may be out of luck. Razer has paused direct laptop sales in the US because of tariffs. And this is not the only company that's paused laptop sales. Framework has paused some sales as well due to the tariffs. So we'll have to wait and see here if other manufacturers are going to follow suit and do the exact same thing, or what exactly is going to happen. And speaking about pausing stuff, next up we're talking about the exact opposite. There's a new king of PS3 emulation on Android, and that is RPCSX UI Android, which is basically just RPCS3 Android with further developments. Anyways, here, RPCSX UI Android just got its very first release. So at the time of filming, version 2025-0409 is the latest update. I'm glad to see that PS3 emulation has not died on Android and that it is continuing, and that they've released a brand new version so quickly. And continuing to talk about PlayStation emulation on Android, but going back one generation, and we're talking about PS2 emulation on Android with Nether SX2. And Nether SX2 Classic just got a brand new update. For those who may not be aware, Nether SX2 Classic is based on Aether SX2 3668. It's a patch for Aether SX2 to continue on to try to improve the emulator. So at the time of filming, Nether SX2 Classic version 2.0a is the latest update. And I would say this one is a pretty big update because I've never seen it released as an APK before. They have bundled everything together and are no longer requiring people to patch it themselves. The rationale behind releasing the full build APK is the fact that Aether SX2 has been delisted from the Google Play Store for over a year, and the website is taken down, so it's no longer really available anywhere, and it doesn't seem like it's being maintained. And as for the changelog here, they say this version should block the Play Store from installing 3064 over it, bump the internal version to enable hardcore retro achievement support, and I would say that is a pretty big thing here, and ported the majority of custom features from 4248 to 3668. So let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below, but I would say the ease of use here is probably going to help revive the PS2 emulation on Android scene, and I'm curious to see where it goes from here. Next up, we're talking about a game on Steam that's climbing up the charts pretty quickly. It's got an overwhelmingly positive review score, and the game itself is pretty simple. It's kind of ridiculous. It's called Bongo Cat, and the more you type, the more the cat taps the taskbar. This is a pretty weird game to me. There's not a whole lot to it, but I can't say I'm surprised it's popular given the fact that banana is still popular, and that's just a clicking banana game. Next up, we're talking about a new gaming handheld that's been unveiled that's getting quite a bit of attention, and that's the Anbernic RG 557 HD. Unfortunately, I don't have release date or price or specific specs just yet. It's rumored that this will feature a Snapdragon G2 Gen 1, I think. Taking a look at the gameplay here, and it does appear that this is going to be a flagship device from Anbernic. And also taking a look at the handheld, and it seems it's not as bulky as a lot of Anbernic handhelds are. I don't know about you, but I associate Anbernic with bulky handhelds. They just seem a little bit thicker than the other ones. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below, and if you'd be interested in the RG 557 HD, provided the price is right. Moving on, and we're talking about the Nintendo Switch 2 again, and it seems Nintendo has kind of responded to some of the feedback about the high price point. Now, not surprised here, their responsive source has also been met with a lot of negativity. So they say here that the Switch 2 price was appropriate. And they also say, we recognize there are some people that may not be able to afford the Switch 2's price point. That's why we wanted to make the other Switch platforms available, so people still have an opportunity to come into our gaming universe, be part of these characters in these worlds, and see value, if you will, in whatever rung of the platform they come in. So at a high level here, if you can't afford a Switch 2, buy a Switch 1. The full interview is up over on CBC, and I recommend giving it a read if you wanted to learn more about the entire situation. There is quite a bit there. Now, although that quote is getting a lot of negativity, a lot of negative press, I think there's something very good about it. I'm not defending Nintendo here, I'm not against them. I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible and just report the news. But within that quote, if you already own a Nintendo Switch here, and not necessarily if you can't afford a Nintendo Switch 2, but if you don't want to buy a Nintendo Switch 2, it seems as if Nintendo is going to keep supporting the Switch. I think that is a really, really good thing. I'm hoping here it's going to be a PS4, PS5 situation where PS4 games keep coming out well after the PS5 has been released. I am curious to hear your thoughts on the matter though. I mean, for me, I'm not interested in buying a Switch 2. I already have a Switch, and if more games are coming out for the Switch and the Switch is going to continue to be supported, I'm pretty darn happy about that. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. I had even more to talk about today, but it's my anniversary. I wanted to spend time with Mrs. Sujano, so I'll push that stuff to tomorrow's video, and I hope you don't mind. We talked about a bunch today, though, so feel free to discuss anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos, and don't tempt fate, save your state.